Messianic Rabbi Jonathan Cahn is known for his best-selling novel, The Harbinger. He compared the United States to the destruction of ancient Israel. His teachings, which are known for revealing the deep mysteries of God's Word, are broadcast around the world. In his devotional, The Book of Mysteries, Jonathan takes you on a one-year journey to mountaintops, caverns, and the oil-lit chambers of scrolls to uncover secrets that he says will change your life.
He's got a new book out, The Book of Mysteries, and Jonathan Cahn is here live with us. And what is going on? I know you want to talk about this, the Arch of Baal, let's lead off with that. What's that about, and where is it?
Yeah, well, in the Harbinger, the template is that the nation that's warned by God, instead of coming back, gets worse, becomes more defiant. That happened with ancient Israel. It's happening with America. You were just alluding to it. It's happening. But in ancient Israel, when these things were happening, and the harbingers and judgment, they were worshiping Baal or Baal. And this is their anti-God. This is the God of their apostasy. Could, therefore, the sign of Baal manifest in America as the sign? Well, you think, how on earth would that happen?
Yeah.
But in the last month, Gordon, it happened. And in New York City, they erected the Arch of Baal that led the worshipers of Baal to worship in the temple of Baal. They put it up in City Hall. I was there. I witnessed it. The deputy mayor of New York said, we are doing this as an act of defiance. I mean, and in the Harbinger, you know, the people are saying, we'll rebuild what was destroyed, and it was destroyed by the Assyrians. Well, this thing was destroyed by ISIS, who are the Assyrians. This literally Assyria. And they're putting it in America saying, we will rebuild. It's Baal. I mean, of all things. I mean, so the sign of a nation that has known God, but now turning away from him, has now manifested.
So this is an archaeological ruin.
Yeah.
That was destroyed by ISIS.
Yes.
Where, in Syria? Or?
In Syria. Yeah, in Syria, from the temple of Baal, yeah.
And so, how did we get it?
Well, we reproduced it. I mean, we said we're going to rebuild and make an exact copy, and that's what it is in City Hall. It's the temple of Baal. That's Baal, the god of Israel's apostasy of all things. We are racing.
It does lead me to the question: why? Why would you?
Because they said, you know, because they destroyed this culture, so we're going to show that we're defiant of this, and we're going to preserve our culture. But the culture is Baal. This is where they offered up sacrifices of their children.
The culture of Baal has been dead for thousands of years. There's nothing good about that. Why aren't they talking about the Assyrian Christians, the Chaldean Christians, ancient Christian communities that are being massacred?
That's right. That's right. By ISIS. That's more. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, why not honor them?
I believe it's
a current culture.
Yes, and that's like with all the harbingers. It's not like people know what they're doing. They just do it, and it manifests.
Why don't they know what they're doing?
Because it's like Caiaphas when he said, you know, one man should die for the. Well, he didn't know what he was saying, you know, but God uses it as a sign. That happens when
he was prophesying.
He was prophesying without knowing it, and the same way that when, you know, in the Harbinger, Tom Daschle says these words from Capitol Hill, that the same words of ancient Israel's defiance, he doesn't know what he's doing, but it's manifesting. I think that's the reason. And even when ancient Israel said those words, they didn't know what they were saying, but they said it. You know, this is God's sign.
One of the things that's always puzzled me about the Exodus is the hardening of Pharaoh's heart.
Yes.
Are we being hardened?
That's a good thing. A good question. Well, when Israel had the warning and then rejected God, it got harder. Because when you turn away from God, you get harder. And that's what it looks like is happening with America. That, you know, we had the chance, 15 years ago, we were saying, God bless America. People were flocking to churches after 9/11. But now we've grown much worse. You know, so yeah, I believe there is a hardening. Because if you don't choose, God can give you over. Now we pray. There's always hope with God. But watching America, this is what's happening.
Should we be preparing to be the remnant?
I think,
you know, the 7,000 who haven't bowed their knee to
Baal. To Baal. Well, I would say this. You know, if these are the days of Baal, then we have to be the Elijahs of the day. Yes, I believe that there's a polarization taking place, and as the darkness gets darker, the lights have to get brighter. It may be a smaller group or smaller number, but they'll be great. Those who stand will be greater. These are the times that produce greatness for those who will stand. And we have to be that people.
And it is a prophecy of the second coming that there will be the days of Elijah.
That's right, and that's right. Yeah,
and most people think of that and go, "Yeah, let's do
these
that."
Are the days of Elijah.
But they don't understand. There's a lot of persecution in the days of Elijah.
Yeah, days of Elijah were the days of apostasy, days of persecution, but the days of Elijah. So again, the dark gets darker, but the lights get brighter.
What do you see next for America?
Well, I believe if we don't turn back, we're going to continue. We're continuing. If we follow this template, it heads to greater shaking. You know how that comes. I don't. Right now, look at this election is crazy, and if we go in one direction, it's going to wipe out the Supreme Court for a generation for us. I believe it is. We're going to see this. I mean, except for the revival, except for God's hand on this, that we will see a darkening, continue, an acceleration. Because right now we don't need another president who's an activist president. All you need is one who won't stop it now, because it's already rolling down the hill. It'll go even faster if we don't have that. And I believe it's going to challenge every believer.
I think it's a process that's been going on for decades.
It is, exactly. But it's increasing. It's accelerating. I mean, you look back at the '60s, putting God out. That's what happened with Israel. You know, let's put this out. Well, Baal comes in, other gods come in, and now we're racing. Before we were moving, now we're racing. So, but I believe God can do great things. These last days are evil shall increase, but I will pour my spirit out on all flesh.
Well, one of the judgments I was reading in Isaiah last week, one of the judgments over Israel, and I think it's in chapter 2, was that inexperienced people will be your leader. And then a increase of corruption.
Yes.
In leadership.
Yes.
And it really worries me that as a judgment on our nation.
I think when you look at this, Gordon, I think when you don't have a good choice, I mean, I'm not talking about, but you don't have a clear godly choice, that itself can be a sign of judgment. The fact that many believers even voted against some clear believers and clear things, I wonder if that also is in a judgment as well. You know, leaders can be a sign of judgment.
Well, I go back in time to 2000, and you know, growing up in America, we're always very proud of our democracy.
Yes.
We're proud of our economy. We're proud of our military.
Yes.
We're proud of our democracy. In 2000, we had a presidential election, and we couldn't figure out who won.
That's right. That's right.
And we needed the Supreme Court to tell us.
That's right. Like by one vote. Yeah. I believe it was almost like we were hanging in the balance. Yeah.
And we were so proud of our military. 9/11.
With box opener, which is a sign in the Bible.
The very Pentagon got hit.
It says, unless the Lord guards the city, the watchmen watch in vain. That's a sign, absolutely.
And then 2008, the economy.
Crash, total, yeah.
And we're still not out of that.
We have not. It has paralyzed, that Shemitah has paralyzed the economy to this day. The growth has never been like it is now, ever, ever.
So for me, is the next one ineffective leadership?
I believe that's definitely a sign. Ungodly leadership.
I mean, you can claim we've been ineffective for a while, but is it going to get worse? And are there other judgments that you see that we should be on the lookout for?
I believe there will be more shaking. And one thing is that the removal of blessing, and that can be prosperity, that can be security, as 9/11. But I won't go into the detail. But in the Harbinger, Donald Trump is in the Harbinger. Yeah, well, and there's a quote there. And the thing is that, if you say, we'll be great again, that's great. But you cannot be great again unless we return to the God who made us great. Right. So otherwise, we're saying Isaiah 9:10, we'll be great on our own efforts. That doesn't lead to it. I mean, there's hope there. We got to pray, but that is the other. So that's not the answer either.
The next thing I worry about is a rise in lawlessness.
Yeah.
We're going to see if leaders aren't held accountable, then why should I be?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Then increasing violence in our cities.
Yeah, which we have seen. The signs.
We've seen the sparks of it.
We're seeing that. We're seeing the persecution of believers coming. I mean, we've never seen it like this before. Yeah. We're seeing blasphemies. We're seeing immorality, things we would never dream of on our television set. But these are what God said it would be. This is our testing time.
You've come out with this book, The Book of Mysteries.
Yes.
What are you trying to do? It seems to be a wonderful devotional. I was reading through it this morning and going, wow, this is stuff I didn't know.
Thanks, Gordon. Yeah.
The whole tying of the Lord's Prayer to our need to recognize He has everything. We are breadless every day.
Yeah. I was led, I believe there's going to be very challenging times for believers. So I want to do something to strengthen the believers for this time. And so there's so many mysteries. The Harbinger is the opening up of mystery. This is the book of mysteries, the opening up of hundreds of mysteries. And I said, how am I going to do that? There's so much. So in the same way as the Harbinger, you have a teacher who is going, so you have a narrative, and a teacher is taking a man in a journey in the desert and on mountaintops. And so you're taking on this journey for 1 year. So you can read it right through, but you can also read it as a devotional. And so every day there's an opening up of another mystery, the mysteries of the age, mysteries of the rabbis, mysteries of the end times, mysteries of finding your destiny. So every day, the biggest problem I had is, how do I condense this? These are big things. One page, But that's what I did, by God's grace. So that's what it is. So every day there's another mystery of God to be revealed, and ultimately to find the mystery of your life, ultimately. So people are reading it right through. People are saying, I can't read this right through. There's so much. I'm doing it every day. So so it can be devotional, but it's different because it's literally a mystery of God that you're getting every day.
Yeah, I found it difficult to put it down and getting in a car and come here. But anyway,
thank you.
I encourage you to get it. The book is called The Book of Mysteries. It's available everywhere the books are sold, and it'll strengthen your faith. And now more than ever, we need to have our faith strengthened. We need to look to the rock, our Redeemer, and realize this isn't a surprise to him. He still has everything under control. It's all proceeding as planned.
That's right. Thank you, Gordon.
God bless you.
Always a blessing. Thank you, man.